Hello vinyl community, how you doing? It's Bill with the Vinylverse. I'm back with another video, and this is going to be another vinyl grabs video of everything I've picked up over the last month or so. I've got a lot to show, and I'm going to try to sneak in some needle drops here. Before I get started though, I just wanted to send out my love and best wishes to Jeff Kempen and his wife Corinne. Jeff's wife just had a major surgery, so I just wanted to send out my love and best wishes to Jeff and Corinne and their family, and hope everything is going well. And I'm thinking of you guys and you and your family, so best wishes to you, and hope Corinne's recovery is positive. I hope everything goes as planned. So now what I've picked up. So everyone has been showing the 50th anniversary of Abbey Road, the Beatles' Abbey Road. I don't have that, but what I do have, I'm a year late to the party, is the Beatles' White Album 50th anniversary box set. I'm not going to go through this. I'm sure you've all seen it last year when it came out. So I'm a year late, but happy to have it. I happened to come across a great deal for this in the Amazon warehouse. Happened to be browsing through that, and this was like more than half the price of what it normally goes for, and it was brand new. The listing said like new, so I didn't know if it would be opened or not, but it was sealed and everything was brand new. So a year late, but I picked it up. I'm really happy to have this. Sticking with the Beatles, John Lennon Imagine. So, believe it or not, I have never owned this album. So I finally got a copy. Was in a local store and saw it. This is 1971. It's an original on the Apple label. With the original inner sleeve here, which is very cool. And it did not have the poster, but it did have one of the postcards. So, yeah, I was happy to finally get a copy of Imagine. And this was really cheap, so really happy to get that. Next, so this is a recent pickup, and whoops. This is the Kinks and Arthur. The full title is Arthur, or the Decline of the British, the Decline and the Fall of Arthur, or the Decline and Fall of the British Empire. This was the Kinks' 1969 release, I think. At least that's what I have written down here. So it has the insert here. And it's on Reprise Records. So of course it has the song Victoria. That's probably the most well-known song on this album. But yeah, the Kinks and Arthur, or the Decline and Fall of the British Empire. Happy to have this, and I know Mazzy is a big Kinks fan, and I'm pretty sure he said this is his favorite Kinks album. So, you can see this is a little worn here. I got this for $2, and it's the record actually is in very, very good condition. So, very happy to have that. Another thing I picked up, 1974. This is Yesterdays by Yes. This album is a compilation of their first 2 studio albums, so selections of songs from each of those albums. Great artwork here by Roger Dean. Love the artwork. Here's the original inner. Now the thing about this album is it also has the track America. So Yes covered the song, Paul Simon's song America, in 1972, and around the time they did the Close to the Edge album. So at that time, the band members would have been John Anderson on vocals, Steve Howe on guitar, of course Chris Squire on bass, Rick Wakeman on keyboards, and then Bill Bruford on drums. So they covered the song America in 1972. I think it was put out on an Atlantic Records compilation with other artists from the Atlantic label. And it is just an amazing track. Really, really love it. And here is a little bit of America. Okay, so that was America by Yes from 1972 and put out on this compilation album Yesterdays from 1974. Great stuff. So next up, I'm not going to talk too much about this album because everyone knows it, but I was happy to find this in the Shrink, an original Frigid Pink. Their self-titled album. This is from 1970. Great album here. On the Parrot label. Okay, next. Found a really cheap copy of Tony Banks' The Fugitive. So Tony Banks is one of the founding members of Genesis, the keyboard player, and probably the main piece to Genesis. So this is his 1983 album, The Fugitive. So I'm a bit of a completist when it comes to Genesis, and I do pick up the members' solo albums. So I didn't have this one from Tony Banks. Picked it up. Not the best album. There's some good keyboard moments on here, some good themes. But Tony sings, and he doesn't have the best voice. You can tell he's a little timid to be singing. But happy to have it for the collection, and it was just a couple dollars, so why not? All right, next. This is an incredible album here, and it is Nektar, Remember the Future. This is their 1974, is it 74? Yeah, 1974 album. It's on Passport Records. This is just a great space rock. It's got prog elements. It's got a little psych elements in it. It really rocks. I really, really love this album. This is the only Nektar album I own. I will definitely be looking to get more Nektar, and most of their albums have just fabulous artwork here. So like I said, this is on Passport. And this was another one that was just I think I paid $3 for this one, so I lucked out on that. So Nektar, and here is a sample of a bit of side one. So the whole album is Remember the Future Part 1 and Remember the Future Part 2. So here's a little bit of Remember the Future Part 1. Yeah, I love that album. Nektar, Remember the Future. Great stuff. Okay, these next few are all related, and in a matter of a couple days and 2 different record stores, I found these 4, and first one is Songs for Beginners by Graham Nash. And what a great record this is. I believe this was Graham's first solo album. I could be mistaken on that, but I believe it is. And this was 1971. Yeah, 1971. What a great album this is. It's on Atlantic. And let's listen to a little bit of the opening track, Military Madness.
The army had my father, and my mother.
fantastic album. If you come across this and you don't already have it, pick it up. You can usually find it for cheap, and it's well worth it. Well worth picking up. Love this album. Okay, next. So like I said, these four albums are all related. So this next one is Graham Nash, David Crosby from 1972. I think this was their first, again, I could be wrong, but I think this is their first solo record together, or Nash and Crosby. But yeah, I was able to find this. Again, really cheap. And it's on Atlantic. And for Nash and Crosby albums, this one is really, really good. So happy to add that to the collection. Okay, and next, sticking with this theme of Graham Nash and David Crosby, this is their 1975 release, Wind on the Water. Wind on the Water. Got this for 99 cents. Now this album is a bit weaker than the last one. So I would say this probably isn't essential, but it's good to add. I wasn't going to pass it up for $1. And in the condition it is in, it's really, really great condition. Almost like it's never been played, and it's on ABC Records. So there's that. And then the final thing from this grouping of Nash and Crosby, what year was this? Also from 1971, David Crosby's "If Only I Could Remember My Name." Finally got this one, so really happy to have found this. I've been looking for a good copy for a long time. You can see a lot of people helped out on this album. So Grateful Dead, Grace Slick. So here's Phil Lesh from the Grateful Dead. Grace Slick, Joni Mitchell. Paul Kantner from Jefferson Airplane, Mickey Hart from Grateful Dead, of course Jerry Garcia. It's a lot of help on this album, and again, this was very cheap, and I was happy to finally get this in my collection. And we're going to listen to a bit of the third song on side 2, called Song with No Words, Tree with No Leaves. Really beautiful track that I just really like. So enjoy. So these last two releases are both from Blue Note, and this first one is just an amazing album. This is Johnny Griffin, Blue Note 1559, It's called Volume 2, or it's also known as a blowing session. And the reason why it's called a blowing session is because you have Johnny Griffin, Hank Mobley, and John Coltrane all on tenor sax on this album. So, this is actually a Music Matters 45 RPM remaster here. I am really, really blown away by the quality of this album. From the jacket, the nice gloss there, beautiful reproduction. The inner gatefold here, the great pictures. But the quality of the pressing is just it's dead quiet, and it just sounds really, really great. I know it's not an original Blue Note. There's some differences between the mix of an original and this one, but this sounds fantastic. I don't know how many are pressed to this, but I have number 951. So the players on this one, and I don't know if there's ever been a better assembly of jazz musicians on an album. So Lee Morgan on trumpet. I already mentioned Johnny Griffin, Hank Mobley, and John Coltrane on tenor sax. Wynton Kelly on piano, Paul Chambers on bass, and Art Blakey on drums. What an incredible lineup of musicians. So this was originally released in 1957, and this is just I just love this album. Music is just phenomenal on this, and these guys go to town on their saxophones and trumpet and piano and bass and drums. So so happy to have picked this up. Johnny Griffin, a blowing session, Music Matters, 45 RPM. Great stuff here. Okay, and lastly, sticking with Blue Note, another 80th anniversary Blue Note release, and it's Kenny Durham, Una Mas. What an incredible album this one is. And I tell you, these 80th anniversary releases are just outstanding, and this one's no exception. The pressing is just, it's great. Really happy with it. And this is an incredible album. So you have Kenny Durham on trumpet, the great Joe Henderson on tenor sax, Herbie Hancock on piano, Butch Warren on bass, and Anthony Williams on drums. The amazing Anthony Williams on drums. So the title track takes up the whole first side, and then there's 2 tracks on side 2. And we're going to listen to the first track on side 2 called Straight Ahead. And I love the way Tony Williams, or Anthony Williams, his drums plays around the pianos, Herbie Hancock's piano solo in this portion of the song. He is just an incredible drummer. And this album came out in 1963. Yeah, 1963. Yeah, just amazing. So here's a little bit of the song Straight Ahead. So that's a little bit of Unamas by Kenny Durham. Great album. And Blue Note killed it with this 80th anniversary release here. So that's everything. Thanks for sticking through and watching this with me. Appreciate everybody watching, and always appreciate the comments. So be sure to comment below. Really appreciate you all. And I guess that's going to do it. So thanks for watching, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye now. Take care.